Euthanasia is being offered as a form of compassion, an act of mercy. But is it really? We'll talk about that and more in this edition of Life Matters. Brian Johnston has served in many capacities while advocating for innocent lives. As the Western Director of the National Right to Life Committee, as California Commissioner on Aging, as Chairman of the California Pro-Life Council, on the board of the National Legal Center for the Medically Dependent and Disabled. And now here's our host, Brian Johnston.
Welcome back to Life Matters. We're your program on the right to life, on actually taking a deep dive to understand what it is that you and I are fighting for when we say we're fighting to defend the lives of the innocent, that we're fighting for the right to life. It's not a physical fight. It is a battle in the very real battle of ideas. So we're going to spend some time right now digging deep into an aspect of this battle that is often forgotten by many pro-life individuals. And that is that this is not merely about our caring for babies. We love babies, but the reason it's wrong to kill an innocent baby is because the baby is innocent. And we've talked about this many times, but before January 22nd, 1973, doctors did not kill babies in the United States. All of the states had regulations which reflected the values of the medical profession, what's known as the Hippocratic Oath. And the Hippocratic Oath guided medicine, guided doctors, and one of the principles is they would never kill someone in their care, even performing an abortion. They would not do that. That's in the oath. So before January 22nd, 1973, and the two decisions that came down that day, you know about Roe v. Wade, but very few fully understand its companion decision, Doe versus Bolton, but the Hippocratic Oath was thrown out that day. So not only did doctors not kill babies, they didn't intentionally kill anyone. Please check that out. Please examine the history of the battle for life, the history of the Hippocratic Oath, and why it is formative and essential for Western civilization. That happens to be where you live. The Hippocratic Oath is what has helped to form our civilization and the regard we have for innocent people in our society. That was lost in January of 73, and you have to understand you have to fight for that to come back. But again, not a physical fight. You have to master the realm of ideas. Those of you who know me know that my academic background is in language, in anthropological linguistics, and I got my undergraduate degree at Sonoma State University in the study of comparative languages and language change. Among other things, I studied the Pomo languages of Sonoma County, and there's a lot that you can learn when you study language, but it isn't just the American Indian languages. They're often studied, and there's a reason for that. But all languages have incredible significance and power. You are listening to someone talk on the radio. That impacts you. When you watch television, it impacts you. Language, whatever culture you go to, that language will impact you because it carries ideas. Now we're going to talk about the ideas that were assaulted in 1973, but that battle has continued for a long time. And that battle that kind of came to a head in 1973 with Roe v. Wade and Doe versus Bolton, that battle has been around a long time. What is that battle? Will you kill vulnerable people? That is the issue. Will the law protect the innocent, or will the law sanction and permit and put a blessing on killing the innocent? That's what's at stake in the right to life debate. That's what's always been at stake in the right to life debate. Will you kill the innocent, or do they have a right to life? Have they had due process of law? Again, the Constitution says in several places, no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Are they a guilty party, or are they innocent? In our nation, we presume innocence. In our civilization, we say you protect the innocent. We have lost the grounding for our civilization if you surrender now in the abortion fight. You see, before January 22nd, 1973, not only did doctors not kill babies in all 50 states, doctors didn't kill anybody because it was against the Hippocratic Oath. That's what was assaulted through the evil twins of Roe v. Wade and Doe v. Bolton. And the Dobbs decision has not overturned Doe v. Bolton. Babies are still being killed. Doctors are still killing innocent, vulnerable people. America now does it. In fact, you may not understand that, but there's many states that will kill your grandmother if you send her to a nursing home and you're not carefully monitoring what's being said to her. In many American states, you will just get a notice, oh, your grandmother passed away last night. You think I'm stretching things? I'm not. In another program, we're going to focus on California in particular, but today I'm going to focus on the lessons learned in Canada. We're going to talk about that coming up.
Life Matters continues after this.
Christmas is the time of year when we honor Christ and the fact that God Himself has decided to become one of us. We remember, too, that we, each and every one of us, is actually made in God's image. Each child is an incredible gift of life. If you'd like to help in the battle for life here in California and remember them at this time of year, please go to CaliforniaProlife.org. That's California Pro-Life, all spelled out, no hyphens, CaliforniaProlife.org, and help us as we stand for the cause of life and for each and every vulnerable child.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sorbo, and I was very excited when I heard about LifeFest Film Festival. LifeFest is the film festival dedicated to showcasing films that affirm the intrinsic worth of innocent human life and the profound significance of each life. I know one of your prizes is the Capra Award, awarded to that production that best reflects Frank Capra's thematic ideal. One seemingly insignificant person can in fact change the whole world in which he or she lives. That one singular life ends up being of vital importance. I'm so glad to hear that you are cherishing that in this film festival and are committed to artfully and creatively protect the lives of those who can't possibly promote themselves. They are dependent on the love and goodwill of people like you to speak on their behalf. Well done.
Find out about the exciting cultural change impacting Hollywood. Go to lifefilmfest.com. And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
Well, welcome back to Life Matters. We're talking about languages used to deceive you. Oh, it's just a choice, you know. They say that about human abortions, and they'll say that about killing patients, having a doctor kill you or a loved one. If it's a choice, if it's compassionate. So that word compassionate is a rubber word. It has semantic depth and feeling. And so those feelings are used to get you to accept killing vulnerable people. And in Canada, they have raced. Before 2016, it was illegal to kill a vulnerable patient. But there's something about Canada you need to understand. They were early in embracing government-controlled healthcare. Now, if you've listened to our program and many others, they've warned you that when the government controls your healthcare, you're in great danger because whatever the government gives you, the government can take from you. America's founders understood that. If you're listening to this program and you're familiar with the American founding, the premise of America's founders is that government can be very dangerous to people. Government can take away their lives. Government must be controlled by a firm constitution, and that constitution needs to have firm guidelines to protect God-given rights. endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among which are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Again, if you study language, in the English language, that word happiness in 1776 was identical to the English word blessed. And if you're familiar with the Sermon on the Mount, those words are used exchangeably. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Happy are the poor in spirit. So the American founders said, we need to ensure we limit government because it'll want to take your life. It will want to absorb as much power as possible. And that's why they said it had to have limits and there needed to be a constitution. Many Americans don't understand the need for the Constitution and to adhere to it carefully. And so Canada rapidly, once they embraced government-sponsored health care, if you were cared for by a doctor, that doctor is paid by the government. That's a very, very ominous situation, but many people didn't get it. But starting in 2016 in Canada, they passed a law that allowed a nice euphemism. That euphemism is medical aid in dying. Oh, medical aid in dying. And what that means is that a doctor will use deadly medicine and kill you. And it's presumed that you have to ask. That started in 2016. It rapidly grew. It's not just a slippery slope. And as I've said before on this program, and you can go back, there's quite a few episodes that focus on the need to preserve and honor the Hippocratic Oath. And if you want to know more about that, and you're a listener as opposed to a reader, you can read the book, Evil Twins, Roe and Doe, How the Supreme Court Unleashed Medical Killing, and that's available at Amazon and wherever fine books are sold. But if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it on Audible. But the real issue is to understand that you've been misled by the media and the abuse of language. I've spent a lot of time, and I do it regularly. I am a linguist by training. I'm an anthropological linguist in comparative languages. And I assure you that language is being used to mislead you. It's being used by the media to misguide you as to what the debate is about, to get you onto a tangent where they can easily say, well, you're just religious and you should not be making the laws because you're not dealing with reality. In fact, you are. If you want to protect the innocent, you are echoing hundreds of years of civilization. You are going back even to early history. You're going back to the Hippocratic Oath, where doctors said, we don't kill and we won't kill. Once doctors are licensed to kill, it's not going to slip to a dangerous situation. It is a dangerous situation. So the Hippocratic Oath must be honored and understood. It no longer is in vast portions of the United States. Roe and Doe v. Bolton denigrated the Hippocratic Oath and removed it from medical practice when it comes to abortion. But specifically, the oath itself is violated because those babies are innocent and they did not have due process of law. And so the court said, forget the oath. If a doctor wants to kill, they're really smart and they understand. So we're going to license them to kill. That's what happened on January 22nd, 73. But it's also happened in Canada. And Canada had its own abortion decision. But when they decided to expand killing to killing those who are sick or in the care of others, it was precipitous. So I'm going to have you listen now to a very good documentary. It is a documentary that is produced and goes by the name of Fault Lines and examines issues deeply. This particular documentary is titled, Do You Want to Die Now? Healthcare in Canada and How Euthanasia Has Exploded in Canada. So you can look that up online. I actually viewed it on YouTube. I love YouTube now, and I am establishing a YouTube channel that actually will focus on these issues to help you if you're getting older. And by the way, if you're listening right now and you're 15, you're still getting older. And the things you do now as you age, as you get older, are going to impact your whole life. The things you study and care about now will form your ideas and the decisions you make. So we're all getting older. I used to be a commissioner on aging in California. That's why sometimes they call me commissioner. But in that capacity, I spent a lot of time studying aging. And aging is not something to fear. It's maturity, which is everybody's destiny. And if you learn how to direct yourself to it and have the right ideas, it is great to get older. But there's a cultural message, and it's very strong in Canada, that if you get older and you're depressed, fine, we'll be rid of you. So listen now, you're going to hear from this documentary just how rapidly it has progressed. Again, in Canada, they called it medical aid in dying. It's assisted suicide. It is euthanasia. They're looking for people, and it has gone rapidly, not to the physically limited, but any depressed individual in Canada is now legitimately being killed under Canadian law. Listen as you hear this ominous situation here in our Western civilized continent, and it's happening as well in many states.
In March of 2024, people with mental illnesses will be eligible to apply for medical assistance in dying, or MAID, the government's euthanasia program.
When I first heard about it, I got really excited because I've never been able to do it myself. I've lost track of how many times I've tried to end it.
In just a few years, Canada has gone from banning euthanasia to being one of the most permissive countries in the world for those seeking it. It's prompted a heated debate about whether the country is making it easier for people to die than get the help they need to live.
It's the same government that's giving out MAID that is actually denying people services in a socialized universal healthcare system. I don't actually care enough about you to fix your poverty or try to find ways to advocate for you, but I can end your life.
I think Canadians have always felt like people should be able to choose. As long as people are being assessed and found eligible and they're choosing this death, who are we to decide that it's not the right choice?
How much of this, your desire for MAID, is driven by economics?
I'd say a very large portion of it. There's a lack of support. I really needed it a while ago. I've given up on everything. You know, I'm barely 2 steps out of the gutter at all times, and I just want to be gone. I didn't choose to get born, but I can choose to die.
Well, if that doesn't chill you, I don't know what will. The fact is that we are initially sold ideas with language. I told you that that's my specialty, and there's some great books on language that I didn't write, but you should read them. And some of them, one in particular, in 1984, that story of a dystopia, there is a whole section which you can look up. It's a standalone section, and it's about newspeak. Newspeak is the language that is used in that dystopian novel, 1984. And when you read it, you'll understand it's being used on you right now. The semantics, the weird language that's being used on you and on your thoughts. And if you are not prepared, if you are not armed, and again, many of you are Christians, you need to guard yourself, your mind, with the helmet of salvation. You need to use the shield of faith, because there's many lies that are coming at you, and they're not designed to help you. Those lies are designed to bring death and destruction. So make sure you pay attention to what you're hearing, the words that you use. Someone who used to be a U.S. Senator from California, Sam Hayakawa, who was a senator for many years in the 70s and up until 83. But he was an English professor in San Francisco State, but he focused on semantics and semiotics, which is the study of signs and symbols. And semantics are so powerful. If you are not prepared to deal with the language of this battle, you will lose. I promise you, you will lose. So I want to pick up again with this documentary. Do you want to die now? Again, you can listen to it on YouTube. This is just a short segment, but it points out that usually when people are sold the idea of assisted suicide, it's for somebody who's just about to die from cancer, and it's so terrible. And that's how it's sold. But in Canada, they did pass the law based on that, and then they rapidly started changing it. So listen to this segment, because the fact is you're being sold this, your family is being sold this by the dominant media culture. They're using language and ideas and sympathy and feelings to manipulate your thoughts. And you need to have clarity. We're talking about killing those. And now in Canada, people that have nothing wrong with them physically, but they're just depressed. By the way, let me remind you, as I said, I'm a Christian. I'm glad to be. But practically speaking, every individual needs to watch their thought life. Many people don't realize they are their own worst enemy, and they get negative thoughts. There's people you know that are depressed, that are often depressed, and they get thoughts that harm them and bring them into depression. I like to call those ants, which are, it's kind of reference to automatic negative thoughts. And you need to kill ants in your life. Use that acronym. Those thoughts that pop up and say, oh, this is terrible, or what if that person does this or that? And that is actually a negative idea in your mind that you need to deal with, or you will go into depression. In Canada, they will kill people who are depressed that have nothing else wrong with them. That's happening right now.
When you think of physician-assisted suicide, you probably picture a cancer patient nearing the end of their life. And that's how it started when Canada legalized it in 2016. But in 2021, it was broadened out to include other people who were sick or disabled, but not in immediate risk of dying. In March of 2024, people with mental illnesses will be eligible to apply for medical assistance in dying, or MAID, the government's euthanasia program.
Okay, we're looking at some ominous things right now. I hate to have that bring down. When we come back on Life Matters, we're going to talk about the chance to participate in some good news out of Hollywood, and that is Life Fest Film Festival. So we'll talk about that in just a moment.
Life Matters continues after this.
This is Brian Johnston of the California Pro-Life Council. Wherever medicine has been used to kill, it's proved impossible to control. Please help us stop assisted suicide in California. Go to stopassistedsuicide.com. That's stopassistedsuicide.com.
Are you willing to step up to be a lifeguard? We're asking you to consider becoming a Life Matters lifeguard. On Life Matters, we cut to the depths of this cultural battle of ideas that has robbed America of its core values and robbed the innocent of their right to life. Anything you can pledge is appreciated. But if you pledge $19 a month, we will make you part of the Life Matters lifeguard team, getting you the important tools and dynamic information to help save lives and encourage others in understanding the lurking dangers in today's deadly cross-currents of culture. Your pledge helps us with our costs of broadcast. It keeps the full understanding of the right to life going out over our numerous radio stations, and also facilitates the important podcast that carries even more programming. Please go to the front page of the Life Matters website and click on the donate button. Your donation is deeply appreciated.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, CEO of MyPillow. I support this show, and I would like to offer you our biggest discounts for listening. So please go to our website, mypillow.com, and put in the promo code at the end of this message to get the biggest discounts. Again, thanks for listening, and God bless.
I got a pair of my slippers from the MyPillow company. They're incredibly comfortable. I actually wear them out on errands. They're cool in the summer, as well as very warm in the winter. Any MyPillow product, you can get their highest discount when you use the promo code LIFE, L-I-F-E. Very important. Go to MyPillow, any of their many products, use promo code LIFE, all caps, L-I-F-E, LIFE. So go to MyPillow, put in the promo code LIFE, and you'll get some wonderful discounts, because Mike Lindell believes in you and because life matters.
And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
Welcome back to Life Matters. I'm going to take some liberty and talk about Life Fest Film Festival. You can buy tickets now through the end of the year. You can view these new filmmakers that are using the power of communications. Not just words. I believe personally, I'm familiar with the entertainment industry, look at my background some other time, but I believe the moving image, it uses language, it uses music, it uses storytelling. It's the most powerful tool of communication. That's why we like watching television and going to the movies. It tells us something. Well, Hollywood is changing because of LifeFest Film Festival, and you can go online to lifefilmfest.com. That's lifefilmfest.com. You can look at this year's and last year's films. You can judge them and vote on them. Again, remember, these are new filmmakers who are breaking in the industry. You've already seen films that were initially introduced at LifeFest. Now you can look at the new crop. That's lifefilmfest.com. I also want to remind you, we have supporters of our program, and we want to support them, especially towards the end of the year. You can get some really cool gifts from our friend, the Pillow Guy. Not just my pillow. As I said, I wear my slippers. They're really comfortable and they're very nice. But if you use promo code LIFE, and you can get tremendous gifts for the end of the year, but also as you celebrate the birth of Christ and celebrate the holidays, you can actually help a good guy. That we have friends who are committed to the cause of life and have committed their resources. And that's a very American thing to do. If you recall, America's founders committed their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor in order to establish the wonderful gift that America is and the primary aspect of America. The primary purpose of America is the significance of each individual human life, that it is a gift from God, and the government has a duty to protect those rights of those individuals, and that's you and me and every unique individual which he has made. So go and see what you can find at my store and use promo code LIFE, and you're going to really be blessed in doing that.
Find out about the exciting cultural change impacting Hollywood. Go to lifefilmfest.com. If you have questions or comments for Life Matters, call 800-924-2490. Give us your name and the town you're calling from and a quick question or comment. Learn more about everything in today's show online at lifematters.life, where you'll find all the resources you need to protect life. Life Matters is a production of the California Pro-Life Council.